All right, guys, welcome back. Again, revamped schedule, trying something that we can maybe easily repeat going forward during, again, this transitory period, job hunting, changing roles, changing cities. Just trying to lock in some more on the stream. So we're trying out Manager Mondays as a concept. So let's just get right into it. Welcome back, guys. Like I said, doing something today called Manager Mondays. We started it last week with the F1 Manager. We're going to be doing management games, simulator games where we're in charge of a business, a city, a civilization, a team, whatever it may be. We're running shit, simulating. We're playing pretend. The job that I don't have right now kind of concept, I guess, right? Tomorrow we'll be doing Diablo. Tuesday's going to be kind of a fluctuating, whatever I feel like playing type day. And then Wednesdays are going to be Wheel Wednesdays. We'll be trying that out for the first time this week as well. We're going to play any type of game that involves the racing wheel that I own and don't use enough of. So it could be F1 or Forza. It could be the Crew, some racing games like that. It could be American Truck Simulator, something that requires the wheel to operate and be a little more engaged in. Thursdays will continue to be our shooters, our FPSs. We've been playing a lot of Valorant. That's the vibe recently. Trying to get better at that. And we have a nice crew of people that we play with, so come check that out as well. And then Sundays, hopefully you guys have joined. It's my most popular day, but that's the Chill Sundays. Cozy games, it could be a City Skylines type thing, but The Sims, Mini Metro, just really casual games to have a nice chat to put on some lo-fi, just zone out, keep the Sunday scaries at bay for a while. That's the vibe. So that's going to be the schedule going forward. But again, on a week-to-week sense, it starts kind of with this Mondays, Manager Monday. So as you can see, we're doing City Skylines. Fix the title and your game? What are you talking about? I literally did that before I came in here. My title shows Manager Mondays, Let's Build a City, City Skylines. I was going to say, I got in the habit, since I switched to OBS, of just doing it on Twitch before I even launch, because I made that mistake a couple of times, so... Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. You know how the delay on this fucking website is sometimes, so... We'll see. But we are going to do City Skylines today. I haven't played this game, sincerely in a while, so we're going to build a new game. As you can see, there's a lot of maps. The ones with these icons on the left dictate a specific DLC that they come from. The only one that I've purchased recently is the campus, the university mod. So those are the only ones I really have DLC for. The ones with the Steam icon, those are all mods, basically custom maps that people have made. Some cool designs, some really easy designs to start out, different concepts, some emulating areas in real life. But I downloaded a lot of the ones I have here because they have really large, suitable areas for buildings. We can get very large-scale cities built. Christian just started his first day. How's that going? This Monday, I forget. I'm a little off, even though I have a schedule. I'll have a lot of free time this week. You're not working as many hours now? Oh, paid leave because of the situation. You have become Jason 2.0. Don't compare me to filth. Did they give you any kind of time frame on when you'd have a resolution? Let me use a map that I haven't really built on before. Problem is, I've used almost all of these. I've put a lot of hours into this game. No time frame. That's frustrating. I mean, it took like weeks for his situation. I don't know if it'll be any easier or harder. Yeah, I mean, that was the only positive out of that scenario is that they kind of honor your schedule, at least as it was made. The downside is if you hadn't had a schedule made 2 or 3 weeks in advance, they may shorten some of those hours to pay you a little bit less. But honestly, getting paid to do literally nothing is not really the worst thing in the world. I don't know if I've ever used this one, so maybe we'll try this one. It's got a pretty sizable, suitable area for building and a really evenly distributed amount of all the resources. Probably leaving now. I can't imagine they'd have you work an actual shift just to put you on leave after. But, that company's done some things that have surprised the crap out of me and aren't necessarily great or consistent. So that's fair. Yeah, that's true. Unless they like double pay you, because I could see them fucking around and just auto filling all of your hours. But I have to imagine Diana or Chica would be smart enough to look at your hours and see that they were in fact worked. This is the one thing I dislike starting this game is the amount of custom buildings and props and stuff that I have. It takes so long to load in. Just chugging away over here. Yeah, so you were talking the other day when we were playing Valorant about going there for a couple of days. It sounded like you already had something planned. When was that supposed to be for? Wasn't honestly sure to be fair. I just remember you mentioning something about it. August 9th and 10th. Yeah. Assuming I haven't started a job by then, I could probably make that happen, to be fair. Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, me Cleveland for some hangs wouldn't be the worst idea, probably. No need to. Not like you don't have other means of communicating with me, anyways. Broken assets. I'm surprised there's only like one or two. I have not downloaded like any of the DLC for this. All right, that is a tough tile to begin with. Gotta get used to the controls. I play so many freaking simulators like this. Trees look great. See what kind of settings I even have on this. Okay, so that's a little better. Okay, so starting tile has a decent chunk out of it. Forest and water, which is not the worst thing in the world. I typically play with unlimited money, but limited limited things I can build with to begin with. I still follow the game's progression from small to big. I just like to have the pseudo sandboxy element of some money to play with. All right, so now that I've built my first road, I have tools to zone and resources to place. One of my favorite things I downloaded was waste water. I always kind of cheat and start with that so I don't have to deal with pumping sludge into my own rivers. Okay, let's get some roads. It's going to be low density residential, so I'll probably stick with some 4-laners. Ugh. So what do we got? 5 units there. Try to make a little basic grid to start. Okay. So get some 4-lane roads. One of the problems with traffic is controlling the lanes and grid structure. You don't want intersections too frequently. You want your biggest roads to carry traffic distance quickly with fewer stops. 4 lanes, kind of a nice stopgap for residential because it carries enough traffic to not really slow down, but you don't have to worry about overtly congesting them. We're doing roughly a city 60 unit block here. Okay. So I can't access this next roundabout yet, which is unfortunate. It'd probably be nicest to have some industrial over here, maybe. No. You gotta think about these things in advance a little bit. Get some. Just gotta get a faster. Yeah, I don't have any of the landscaping tools yet, so I can't leave those. All right. Short day. Still paid. Just trying to think about like where this will expand to at some point. So probably go that way and put downtown over here. Suburbs up this way where we're starting. That's all we can start with anyways. so that is right. Let's see. Yep, gotta upgrade. Cinema. All right, so let's start with some resources for our citizens. Like I said, I downloaded a host of wastewater. So these are all, if you look on the bottom right of the descriptions, they all have drain capacity, so they all act as wastewater. And like a lot of cities would have, I like to have a I like to make a little like campus for it. You know. So put a bunch of buildings like this. Right. Makes a little wastewater facility. And it handles a ton of sewage. So you don't really have to worry too much about your wastewater at that point. And then the other thing we'll need to build is a pump to bring in water. And we can put it right there. Connect it to wastewater. And then we'll make a little grid out of water tubes from there, so things can actually get there. Second thing we'll need is power, but we don't have any nice power utility to begin with. So what I usually do is try and build the more industrial portion of the city. Let's get some one-way streets up in here. All right, so you got a little industrial section here. Try to keep everything a little bit pretty. So you think about this as like a residential neighborhood. This is basically going to be your main street. We'll have some side streets going off. Mr. Turner, I would have taken you for a City Skylines fan, honestly. I would have guessed that. Yeah, I'm starting. So I haven't played and seriously played this game in maybe a year or two. And I have very little DLC. I have just a decent amount of mods, but I just love it. And with the new one dropping, I'm really hype, and I wanted to put some time in on this before the new one comes out, and I get lost in that sauce. Sort of starting with our little, yeah, an old as fuck Mass Effect shirt too. I'm pretty sure I got this when Mass Effect 3 dropped. Um, but yeah, it's one of my favorites. I have a nice staple of nerdy shirts I can rock when I'm streaming, so just building the foundations for our little small suburban town to start with. A little wastewater, water pump. About to place some power up here where I'm going to put some industrial. And I'm just working on kind of town center right now. So it's not doing it for me. Yeah. Making some real wonky stuff. Don't worry about me. Okay. Kid, I hate this game sometimes. And it messed up my grid. Damn. Why are you the way that you are? I've been thinking my way to success for a while now. My cousin's my sister. And they just don't do them like that. Like nothing exists like that anymore. It's upsetting. Okay, so we gotta get some power now. We'll start with a nice big coal, ugly ass coal power plant. Okay. And now that we have a little bit of a grid here, just always doing the most incredibly wasteful designs. Okay. So we've got water lines run. Power is a little bit trickier. But for the time being, we can do some janky shite like this. And I'll put some wind power there. Hopefully, it's enough to power both of these things. We're going to find out. So let's run the game. And we'll put our first residential zones. Really? No power, eh? There you go. Go fuck yourself. Chirper just going off. Yeah, speed it up a little bit. All right, so get some people moving in. They don't have any jobs, they don't have anywhere to shop or any sort of structure to this town, but they're moving in. You know, totally normal behavior. So yeah, in the early stages, there isn't much to do except put the most essential resources down: water and power, roads, and then you start zoning things out. You'll see these little meters on the bottom. A high demand for residential, so they still want more houses, but it does go down a little bit as they fill in the spots that are available. If you look at the zoning screen, okay, so they have almost maxed it out. Still a couple of small zones. Couple of tools, we can auto-fill an entire region, or we can paint them with circles or dragging across a grid. It's a pretty low need for houses after placing those. So I'm going to put like half a block's worth down. Now the blue is starting to fill up a medium demand. They want commercial. I'm going to cut the commercial on the busier street here. These 4-lane roads. And for somebody like David who's familiar with Canandaigua, it's a lot of my inspiration. And when I build like main streets, especially considering it's one of the only functional main streets, quite literally in all of America, that still has a functioning downtown built the way that it was originally designed. But I like the idea of a nice big 4-laner going right through the heart of it with your shops. All of the traffic guides you through, around, and past them. So place some of those and you'll see the meter go up and down a little bit. And then you'll see the orange starts to go up. The orange means they want industry or office. We don't have the luxury of offices until they're educated and we have universities and things built. So for right now, it strictly means industrial. And as it's kind of expected, that's where some of the lesser educated portion of your population will go. Obviously, as the buildings level up, they do want highly educated people in charge of them. They will move educated Sims in from outside of your town to take care of those things. But you can also home grow some when you inevitably get to the point where you can build colleges. Building colleges and campuses and things like that are some of my favorite things in games like this. So naturally, that is why it's like the only DLC I've purchased for the game. Was the one that has colleges and campus design and stuff, because I just love that. All right, then of course the flaw in my design is there's no power in the commercial. So there's a couple ways to get around it. In the meantime, you can find a little tiny sliver of blue to put your power lines. Connect them in the least ugly way you can. Over to that. That'll run power across. And that'll have it. As it fills in, the grid obviously grows on its own, and you have less of a need for actual power lines, which is really either a flaw or a bonus, depending on how you view it. But I can get rid of these as I move my commercial up towards the roundabout. Traffic management is really the name of this game, especially as the game continues to go on longer term. It's all about your Sim's ability to get to their shopping or their jobs or their school. And it's all about your city's ability to get resources from out of the city into your manufacturing plants. Your manufacturing plants right now are just generic manufacturing plants. They just make general goods that get sold in the commercial zones, right? But at a certain point, as you develop, you can do ore production, iron production, forestry, agriculture, and you can produce your own raw goods. But then you need your city's traffic to be so good that it can flow from there to general production to the shops and the offices managing those things. So there does really need to be traffic flow. The game's city simulation aspect is a little bit more limited than the game's traffic resource management actually ends up being the big picture for the game. Which is why from the very earliest stages, you have to think about a somewhat realistic design for traffic. And that's why you see me focusing so hard on the grid and how far apart my connections are on the busier roads versus the not busier roads. You need to connector artery roads to bring you to the busiest things like the highway. That's why this road should have very few intersections ultimately, so traffic can just flow. But there are collector roads that bring them to that. It's a whole structure and hierarchy. I'm not saying I'm great at it. I just have somewhat of an understanding about how the game wants it to go for it to work well. Now, we've talked about unlocking some things. Right now we only have a population of 318. And you can kind of see here on this little city icon, firstly, there's areas that you can buy. So obviously your city can expand as you buy them out. If I was able to purchase them, you'd see the ones around it and the kind of general range we'd get into. But you can see that this is kind of a wheel that's filling up. We are a little hamlet, or we will be a little hamlet at population 480 that unlocks our ability to tax our citizens, to take out loans, to do garbage, service, healthcare, and basic education. The only things you unlock at this point are elementary schools and some hospital buildings. There are some landmarks and things that unlock with each level. Now it gets a little wonky because obviously I could build Tokyo's government building. It's a mod I have. You wouldn't unlock it at a city this small, but it's just the way that the mod wasn't necessarily tagged right when it was built. All right, so they need some more jobs. They need some more production. So we'll place some industry. Then you'll see, of course, the need for homes rises again as more jobs get created. More people want to come in. That's the early name of the game, just general city growth, as most people could understand it. Like I said, late stage, you get to a point where it's just traffic management, making sure your roads are flowing freely. Like right now, there is no pressure points for such a small city, but you'll see this turn into orange and red when there's a lot of traffic. And that's really the long-term name of this game, is just managing traffic. So like I said, resources go from place to place to place. People can go from place to place to place. Your resource moving around starts slowing down and your city starts dying. Like I said, the resourcing is a little bit deeper than it looks when you first fire up this game. You don't really think too much of it. But like I was explaining, these industrial buildings are just general industrial buildings. They just produce whatever that gets sold in the commercial buildings. But they do bring in resources: iron, oil, agriculture, lumber. They all use those resources to produce what they're outputting. So you need to have traffic flowing for those raw resources to get there to be made. And then conversely, for these to go to your commercial. But as you get bigger and bigger into the game, you can start mining your own resources. And you'll still need the traffic flow to be there. So you got to district these things out properly, handle that. All right, so what do we need? More homes. Let's just build a big old fat district there. And let's put some more commercial. We don't want to put too many. And again, with your resources, you can check them: water availability, sewer treatment availability. So we've reached Little Hamlet. We can now do garbage and education and healthcare. And those are very important things, because the moment the game clicks them on, your Sims start needing to process them. So garbage, again, some mods that I downloaded to help streamline and make life easier. I have this big-ass recycling center. It produces a decent amount of noise, but it does handle a pretty wide load for the city. Where can I fit it? Maybe I'll put it near my water treatment. And if you go into your budgets, you can, depending on day night cycle, allocate more or less money. I could throw more money at garbage, up to 150%. And it will put more garbage trucks on the road, essentially. It raises the budget for these things, so it expands the effectiveness of these buildings. You can see when you place these things, the resources like garbage and healthcare, the roads that it reaches will turn green, and the roads that it can't stay gray. So if I were to put my hospital or healthcare or whatever down here, you can see that obviously it's not going to effectively touch that corner, the opposite corner. So that's the default, the medical clinic that the game gives. I have all of these different buildings that I've downloaded just to look a little bit interesting. Like there's a university hospital, which I love because it's like the hospital from, what is it, The Dark Knight or The Dark Knight Rises, that gets blown up or it goes over the building. But you could put it like here. It's a big one. It services all of my city, which is huge. But it's not overwhelming. Like a small town would still have or a small city would still have a pretty large hospital. But the design, I just thought is so cool. Being able to go over the road like that. And then lastly, we need elementary schools. I got a few different designs. The radius on these buildings isn't necessarily great. Like even putting it here, it only reaches those buildings. So I'm going to put it smack dab in the middle of where all my citizens currently live, and I keep placing them. They'll have different capacities and things like that. The sad thing is when you're developing the city is you do need some like uneducated Sims to take on the jobs that you need for production and commercial, like retail. So some areas will unfortunately not have as nice coverage as they probably should have in an ideal world. But you do need some uneducated citizens as well as some highly educated citizens. So you got garbage, healthcare, and some very baseline education. And we'll unlock more. We'll unlock high schools and libraries at 1,500 citizens, and the university comes at 7,500. So they want more houses. We have a few left here. Let's fill out this district right next to the school. People will love that. Eventually we'll be able to place parks and stuff. It'll raise land value, draw some Sims in. Chirper, this thing at the top, it's like their fake Twitter, but it tells you the kind of things that, people are thinking in your city. If they don't have any access to garbage disposal, they'll bitch about garbage piling up. If there's no access to a graveyard or a mortuary or things like that, they will bitch about dead bodies piling up. Also, the cool thing about the large recycling center, it does have its own power output when it actually has garbage, just like an incinerator. Generates some power by taking in waste, so it's another really clever kind of green element to that building, which is nice. And we'll put it back up to 2 speed, kind of let it ride for a minute. Let's keep an eye on traffic, make sure nothing's getting red yet. Now, as this industrial area fills out, they'll use more of this intersection to bring things to and from. Then you could even destroy this one and make them go through here. Would actually probably increase traffic flow at this point. This is going to be a very popular one, bringing people from our industrial to our residential. So and there are mods and things you can get to control like traffic lights and stop signs and things. They'll help traffic flow as well. I've never dived that deep. One thing we could also possibly toy with, if this traffic were to get bad enough, would be a one way. All the industrial leaves this way and everybody goes into the zone that way. A temporary fix, to be sure. But it is something you could mess with if you wanted to try. So then, from a power perspective, we basically don't need these power lines anymore. Because our grid has connected itself now. I'll still leave these for now. I'll get rid of them eventually. But you can see that the power is jumping naturally along the buildings that are already there. Which means from an aesthetic point, I can build that now, and this will be more connected. It's very simplistic at this stage in the game. Once we unlock some other tools, you can get into some nitty gritty and really hone in on design, parks, placement of trees, things like that. Can't do any of that right now, though, unfortunately. You just keep an eye on those 3 bars on the bottom, place buildings that you need to at this stage. Try to find that balance where none of them are really high, none of them are crazy low necessarily. But people want to move here now. You're starting to give them everything they need and a lot of nicer resources to go with it. Yeah, and usually once we're, that 50 to 60% range plus, you start dropping more buildings. So landscaping comes with the 1500, which I think is one of the next ones. Yeah, Tiny Town. Well, we're coming up on Worthy Village, which unlocks the ability to make districts, which allows you to also place policies in those districts or citywide. We can get another loan, and we can specialize our districts, i.e., again, industrial production, things like that we're talking about. I can buy a new area. We can now do fire and police and unique buildings like monuments. Well, not monuments, but like landmarks and stuff. And we could specialize in forestry and agriculture with our industrial buildings. We could now have like a forestry area, a farm area. We can regulate power, water usage, distribute smoke detectors, and of course the buildings that go along with having those services. We're almost there. Another couple drops of residential zone will probably get us there. I typically run this game at 3 speed just for the sake of actually explaining and trying to control things a little bit better. I've slowed it down here today. It's funny watching the buildings come in at 3 speed. They just like instantly appear. Alright, so we've unlocked fire and police, which we need to place. We can make districts. And those are all things that we're going to want to do relatively quickly. So let's start with the buildings. Let's put a little fire station. Just want to make sure you do it on a somewhat busier road, a place where they can actually get in and out quickly. So I'll put them like over here, which is a 4-lane road. And I usually put them near each other. Not any real reason to do that, other than I just like it. Special buildings we've unlocked finally. Landmarks, different parks. For the people who download mods, that's where you'll find a lot of like the unique buildings, the real life skyscrapers and monuments and things like that. But there's also some basic like parks and things like that we can put down. So you can put that plaza down, for instance, Statue of Wealth. Looks nice. People need a certain amount of things near them to be happy. I even have downloaded mods of like real grocery stores and stuff that adds like a level of authenticity, real feel to that city, though there'd be a supermarket here and there, as opposed to just these cheesy looking stores that they give us. But I've only locked level 1 and some of the default ones. Like there's this massive cathedral, but you wouldn't have that in a city this size. It just doesn't make sense. So we're not going to place it. I do have the ability to draw districts now, and that's a powerful one. So start out with very fine circles, so we have a little better control. But basically, we'll just make everything that'll go in our city proper a district. Now we can bust out the bigger one. Just fill it in. They have really bad default names. And then we'll make a different district for industrial. Right? They have different rules, right? We don't have a lot of policies that we can enact right now. But we can use energy conservation, water conservation. It costs a little bit more, but it doesn't really for us because we're on unlimited funds. But you can see that inevitably we'll have like education boost, recreational use marijuana, things that you can tax, free public transportation, for-profit education, book fair, things that city planning wise, you can cap them from being skyscrapers and kind of create like a mid-density area, pet ban, recycling focus. But when you get to the city planning one, which is huge at a population of 5,000, then you have the ability to tell it like no heavy trucks going through town, all those things like that that can help some of the things we talked about with long-term planning for your city. What else did we unlock? No, that was pretty much it. District specialization for industrial. Like I said, right now, all we have is generic industry, and we're going to leave this area as generic industry. But, maybe down the road, like you could put some forestry here, or these light green areas, that's farmland, And maybe you get to a point where you want to build some farms over here. You kind of round out this small town vibe. Anything below this highway connector and rail line, might start thinking density if we expand this way. Same thing, if we think about it this way, this would be a nice little suburb across the river and have some density, like city proper, downtown here. There's a lot of ways to expand on a map like this. Same thing, you could put some pretty dense stuff here. What's the name of the city? Westdale? Also, again, automated generating of names, not the strong suit for this game, be it just the districts or the cities as a whole. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Same as before. The speed of the game always goes down to the slowest speed whenever you hit a milestone. The nice thing about doing a city build for me on stream is that I'm always I'm like one of those people that I'm like, oh, I want to play some City Skyline today. I want to build a city. And then I just sit there at the main menu just thinking like way too hard about like which type of like map or aesthetic I want to have. Like, do I want to go for big build? Do I want to focus on small town? Do I want to do this, that, the other thing? And that level of indecision, especially with having put like 400 hours in, just kind of kills you and you end up not playing the game. So it's nice with this to kind of just force me to like pick something and just start going and see what comes up with it. What comes from it, I should say. These poor guys living across the street from the industrial. But that's real life, innit? In it. See what Chirper's got to say. So some of the milestones mean a little bit less. Like the one we're in now doesn't mean a whole lot. Just adds a couple of buildings. Yeah. They have a real demand for residential right now. Everyone's smaller. Here's a footrest. And I'm like, yes. Let's go. coming in nicely. Well, it's time to start using this other side. It's a whole different thing. It's the same, but different, right? It's going to have its own needs, probably need its own elementary school, fire, police. Let's keep going. Keep pushing. And at this point, we're just racing towards 1,500 citizens. Once we get there, we unlock a heap of things that are really cool and will help us a lot in our development. So if we take a look at it quick, you can see we'll unlock parks and plazas, level 2 unique buildings, landscaping tools, and some policies, as well as some upgraded roads. We'll get canals, fences, some really nice buildings. Public libraries as well, which I like. So just seeing that creep steadily towards 1,500. I don't know if we'll get to 1,500 without placing more zones, though. Something to keep an eye on. Because buildings do upgrade over time. This is a low density house, but you can see it's on level 2. Some of your, well, we did get to 1,500. Nice. So landscaping, new policies, parks and plazas are the big ones. And that's kind of nice because then you think about the development of this area of the map, right? Now I can take and put parks. Right? Do cool things. And there's also some mods that now come out because they fall into the category of parks and plazas that I have. And these are reusable. I can use these assets as many times as I need. So you got different plazas you can put. And they make sense in a little bit busier areas sometimes. You can put something like this down. Let's see. Let's think about this area as future development. We want to put a nice modern elementary school. Put it there. Go back into parks and plazas. Put a fun little basketball court behind it. Get a little park next to it. Now that we have landscaping tools, we can put paths too. So you can put like a nice little footpath that connects through here, around the park, and the basketball court. We start dialing in that aesthetic of the city. You know, I like to do things like this, fill out some of the space. Make your own parks, put some picnic tables, things like that. Landscaping allows us to place trees. And I have a little mod on it where I can plop them down with a brush, fill things in. Different types of bushes and trees. Just makes things look a little bit more organic, natural, filled in, real, right? Don't really do it too much on the edges of these, and I like to wait in some cases until we have to fill it in. So we're going to build out this side of the town a little bit more, get some nice parks. You're going to get doctor's office. Fire and police. Got an elementary school on each side. What we're going to work on now is something that I love to do, and that is creating a nice high school campus. Let's see. Can't build on half of this, but that's really neither here nor there, I guess. So I like to put like a one-way street. To put the school off of. That makes me feel like, old high schools and elementary schools with their little bus loops. One-way traffic. So put a high school down. Could be a big one like that. Could be a small one. Yeah, actually, let's get rid of that. I don't like it. So then using some of the buildings I have, I can put down some buildings for the school, right? And for some reason, I can't build on that side of it, which I don't like. It's like a high school campus area, right? Gotta try and find where that is. Where did it go? That's the only problem when you have all these mods. You got to try and find some of these things. There it is. Little high school football field, smack dab in the middle there. And we can take our paths. Just make it look a little realistic. You got your trails, your paths, things like that. It looks like a school, proper school. Parking lot, things like that. Come in here, back in our landscaping tools. Some trees, some bushes. You got yourself a little high school. So we got high school, we got police, we got healthcare. And if we revisit Main Street, what's that building? This is a library? Put it right down Main Street, huh? This is our Main Street, suburbs filling out from there. High school should be big enough with a capacity high enough to cover all of the town, but some citizens might not get it. And again, like I was describing earlier, that's okay because at the end of the day, you do need some uneducated citizens in your city in order for it to properly work. Okay, so let's make sure we're going to expand our water a little bit. Water is available. Still, power consumption is starting to outpace us a little bit. We don't have any new buildings. We can put a couple more of these if we really wanted to. And honestly, I can just put another coal plant. And that capacity should jump up pretty highly in a second here. Yeah. So now power covers all of our buildings, which is important. It has jumped across the grid. The demand for residential is still really high, so we'll start filling out some of these spaces here. Gets a little janky sometimes. Put the speed up. And that was our last big jump for a little while. The next upgrade is Boomtown 2600. It doesn't give us a ton of really crazy things, admittedly. So we're just going to revisit while the city develops a little bit. We have some new policies we can enact. If I wanted to ban pets, if I wanted to ban smoking, or if I wanted to boost Parks and Rec. And we'll go ahead and do that here. It's like the wonky thing with building cities like this is you have the forethought of being able like, oh, I'll just put my campus here and then the city will fill out. But it's like, what city exists with a high school with just barren wasteland with like nothing there yet? Ba-ba-ba-bum. Yeah, we'll probably end up demolishing half of these anyways. Getting too ahead of myself a little bit. Yeah, nice development for the most part, though. Oh wow, I didn't not paying enough attention. Crazy demand for residential. So let's fill in some of the space up until our high school, make it a little less wonky. We could check out some of the other buildings we've unlocked, see if any of them can or should be built yet. Some more plazas and fountains and things like that. Across from the library there. Friendly neighborhood park. Put another one of these in here somewhere. School. Got some skyscrapers and buildings that are just not needed quite yet. This is a fun one to build. It's an industrial building. Kind of fits that aesthetic, right? Makes it seem a little bit more real. You got some big ass building there. Again, some skyscrapers and towers that just aren't applicable yet. Got some projects, some flats. But like Village Church, you could absolutely put this one here. Some one lane roads, things like that. Could put the church though, you know? It's kind of nice though. We got ourselves a city coming along. A small one, admittedly. Low density. Suburbs. Not quite. I guess. I don't know. It will eventually be, really, when we start getting some high density stuff. You better be winning. I'm damn sure am winning, buddy. Don't worry about my $17,000 operating loss right now. It's unlimited funds, brother. We have not created an economically efficient city, but we have created an aesthetically pleasing city. That thirsts for more residents. does it need? Not enough educated workers. Yeah, we'll churn some of those out soon enough now that we have high schools. Just be patient, guys. Be patient. That's the problem you start running into is you'll start hitting these walls where all of these older commercial buildings are the ones that have maybe upgraded themselves too quickly, start demanding educated workers, and you don't have them, or they'll start demanding materials you don't have yet. Then you're kind of like, why did I build all of you guys? I can't sustain you. But the game demanded it, so you did it. It's a very cool building. Bump, bump. Bump, bump. Yeah, like, so these buildings, these businesses are going to go under because there's not an educated worker. Even though they're telling me they want more commercial. Just, I don't believe it. Guess we can't sustain the ones we have. And you'll see this pop up more and more now. Need educated workers. Oh no, crime in the parking lot at the high school. Some seniors smoking a bowl before class. Can't have that. Sushi restaurant. Yeah, like I said, and then they start getting red, and then eventually the building will go under because there's not an educated worker. Maybe you should pay them better, and someone would move here for the job. That's all I'm saying, guys. I just build the place. I don't need to be involved in all the politics. Boomtown. Now I can do public transportation or specialization and recycling policies. And we can start building highways. And that means we can edit them if we so need. If I wanted to put another interchange, which there's no real need right yet. Eventually, I'll get rail pretty soon. That'll help connect to my industrial here, which will be good long term. Check. New area transport. I could place the bus depot if I wanted. Lay down the bus depot allows us to start building specialized roads, and we can place bus lines. All right, do one line there. Just forget to pause on these. Probably just fuck up my transit more than anything, but I've always been bad at the transit part of this game. I'll level with you. Get some more people to move in. Let's go. There we go. Buy this area. Expand this way. Do I get the roast trees? 5,000. God dang. Expand out some feature planning. The coastal road. Start to fill this place in more. Sometimes I think back to SimCity 2000 and I'm just blown away by how far the genre has come. Yeah, it's absolutely insane the things you can do now by comparison. And back then, our minds were blown by that game. It's unfortunate the most recent one was a bit of a dumpster fire, but this seems to have picked up in at least spirit from where that one left off. I'm really excited to see what City Skylines the next one has to offer. The one coming out in a week or whatever. Or no, it's not that soon, right? It's a little bit down the road. Now I'm curious. When is the release date for that? This came out 8 years ago. Just think about that too. October. Oh, I was thinking because I was playing F1 Manager the other day, and that game had a sequel that comes out in a week or so. But yeah, October, City Skylines 2. Game looks like it's going to be incredible. They've seemed like they've really got their finger on the pulse with a lot of the changes people want to make. A lot more control over your city, which is really exciting. Oh, did I miss that? Yep, I did miss that. I definitely missed when I unlocked that building. I forgot to put down graveyards and funeral homes and the like. I overspam them because the death plague that comes upon your city at some point just gets really crazy. Yeah, like I was just talking about, like some of these businesses start bitching about not having enough educated people to work there. Then they go out of business, even though they're telling me there's a medium demand for commercial zones. I'm like, you can't even sustain the ones I've built. And that is always an easy trap to fall into when you're starting off with these cities. Is the game tells you they want so many commercial buildings, and then after another generation or so, you're like, wait, you didn't even need the ones we have. Things tend to come in waves in games like this. You plop down a bunch of residential in a short amount of time, and then all of a sudden you get a death wave at a certain number of years down the road, and okay. Oh. Don't understand what's going on with the zoning. Go. What happened? There is a toggle zoning button that exists on these roads now that did not exist last time I played this. Looks horrendous, and I love it. Just fix these power lines over here. So we're just getting the next stage of our development, starting to fill in a little bit more, getting our grid work a little bit laid out. Some more low density Riz fill in here. Okay, I think we got that sorted. Let's make sure the water situation's good. So that's all laid out. So we can start placing some more stuff. Got a couple parks in here. Keep them happy and, keep the land value up. Yeah, these parks won't have power until start connecting some buildings, but that's okay. They don't need to operate, unlike city services. Mm-hmm. Such a low need for industrial. Yeah, medium. They say medium. Disagree looking at that, but what you can do. Let's plop some residential strategically here. Try and connect that park to power. And same with this one. You place things in a certain order and you can daisy chain your power cleverly. Okay. Things seem to be leveling out nicely. Filling in really well. Get some crime here. Let's take a look at the districts. Yeah, I was going to say we probably need to fix this a little bit. Call it Beechwood Park, but I think we could just call it Beechwood if you wanted to. It's a sign of good times. Some of these, but start filling in some of this other land from an aesthetic standpoint. See what I'm saying? Get the bus one way going through the front of the high school. It's good vibes. Sometimes it's nice to get close. A lot of buses on the road. Traffic's holding pretty steady. Yeah. Way from you. See if they put anything there. Let's just speed it up for the time being, see what happens to these levels. Okay. Get away from you. Play some more industrial. Okay, 7,500 is when we get to high density. Oh, we have level 3 unique buildings. I didn't even know that. Tax office we can put down here too. Church. Honda car dealership. Love that. Maintenance facility. Love it. Just add some niceness. Shell gas station. Just a little faster. Number charts have leveled off a little bit. Still a high demand for residential, so let's plop a little more. Medium density. Let's fill in this block. And industrial. Okay, doing well. It's coming together. This is a nice little city. Small town, USA. Looks cool. Not really, but ish. Where else? Let's keep this expansion rolling. Commercial barrier between the industrial and there. But the expansion will be like so. There we go. Some nice decorative roads, some slightly larger buildings, some new policies, and a new specialization for industrial. Yeah, 7,500 is the next big one. That's going to unlock a lot of density for us, a lot of different options. So, And it sounds just like a song. Don't know if I could ever go without. Let's get some more things in here, huh? Should, um, do. Some feeling. Speed it up a bit. See how things go. Try to work within the confines of what we have laid down here for a bit. Try and level out the economy and some of the things like that. Take the growth as far as we can with this limited area. Yeah, this is the worry. Sunflower. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to take a break for a second here, guys. Get to stretch the legs, refill the water, etc. So I'll be back in just a few moments. All right, welcome back, guys. Appreciate the patience. All right, so as we were filling in this nice little small town that we built, and we're just going to fill in all the space now. Laid out some areas for growth, got a nice infrastructure, something that can be sustainable. And we're running a little shy on power already. Let's see about some more of those. Yeah, stopgap. Until we unlock some more things. It takes so long to unlock like the really nice, environmentally friendly power, but it's what it is, I guess. I keep forgetting that you guys have game audio muted, which is just a thing that I screwed up on. That'd be a great place to put these when I unlock that. Gotta make a jump. Alright, let's keep an eye on these levels. Jump speed up a little bit. The reflection I followed that I mentioned. Bam, 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 bam. I'm gonna attempt to fix this traffic issue. See if this helps at all. Okay, so it's the bus stop that's creating that problem. That's good to know. Good lord. The sheer gridlock that was causing. Absolutely bonkers. Migos. And that's nuts when you see some of these traffic jams that get caused. Cool. There's some imperfect traffic in other areas, but like that was the offender. Undoubtedly. She can stand like Sinatra. Good Pablo. Give a dice now. Yeah, be the prince in Dubai now. So I think long term, try and get a little more rural on the edges of this and take advantage of the farmland, create some real small town stuff. So get some more industrial of different types, and then the agricultural and the forestry. And that'll be the kind of main job creating area for this. This I'll try to have maybe like a wealthy suburb or something. And then we'll try to, as we go down here, look at dense city, if we can go that way. So we'll see what we can do. But that'd be my expansion plan for now. We'd like to get the density. But we'll see. Early stages still. Not even at 6,000 citizens. And for right now, like I said, just try and fill out the space we've already carved out. Some more residential. We might be able to get to the 7,500 sim requirement for high density, just this little area. I want to say to you. Alright, so. Gonna catch something, that's because it's true. Alright, so let's forward think a little more. Oof. Doing some serious landscaping. Alright, so ground resources. Is that oil? So what we'll do, just going to reset this whole area. And we're going to place some oil. Place some oil. Put some ore as well. Right. We'll put a little interchange here, the road connecting here, put some industry for oil and ore here. And I'm thinking this will be just like straight up small town America. Kind of trees that. Nice. Okay. So I'll have some forest on the edge of town. And then we're going to put some fertile land for farming in between. We'll have kind of a small town America, real small town America, rural America. Yeah, so we've laid out some more expansion. Don't want to get too far ahead of myself. But I do want to plan, of course. So this is oil. Okay, good to know. Alright, so one of my favorite things in the entire game, and that is definitely a facetious statement, is these interchanges, but thankfully we have a few downloaded. Some of them combine to highways, and some of them are simple interchanges to get highways on and off. Television for you. For you. I only see you. Straightforward. Doesn't need to be a 6-lane road. Maybe we can change it to a 4. Sure can. Sure can. Alright, so now that we've placed the interchange, we'll fill it in with highway. Boom, boom. Yeah. Okay, get this extended out a bit. Now, okay. Just trying to make a little industrial section here. This will be a district in and of itself, and what we're going to do is outline the oil. Right? We change the policies, city planning. Oh, no. District specializations. So this is oil industry. Can change some policies. Smoke detector distribution. Recycling. Part of the reason I wanted to get this one established first is because one of the only other power options we have available to us is an oil power. Make sure it's connected to water. And we'll get it connected to the rest of the power grid. Very simply like that. And then you can put some basic services next to it if you want to. Doctor. Fire. Police. Now, if we look at power, we have greatly expanded. And we can start putting more industry down, oil specific. Feeling so pretty. Yeah, they don't always build it, but they do sometimes. No longer need those ugly power lines. I've got more jobs that are created. We got different types of industry to help our overall manufacturing, because remember, this is generic industry. Now we are creating our own oil products refined. Soon we'll create a department down here that does ore. And when you combine all these things with agriculture and forestry, you're creating a really good network of things to produce stuff for your commercial and to justify offices. So they want more houses, of course, now. Okay. Zone some more residential. It's like we're making our own maps sometimes of these things. Two-lane road with a turning lane. Trying to fix the traffic here. Sometimes you got to remodel your districts for efficiency's sake. They need citizens are sick. That makes sense. They live near industrial. Let's plop some more residential. They got not enough fuel. Isn't this oil? I'm very confused as to how it's not. It doesn't have enough fuel. It's sitting on oil. I'm a little confused on that one. So just place a bunch more oil buildings and that'll do it. Let's just keep expanding, I guess. Now I gotta connect all this industrial together, and we need more space for that anyways. fill up here. High school doesn't reach out here, which means we'll get some uneducated citizens, which is good. But a library, why not? Kind of basic buildings to begin with. Gas station. Costco. Manila City Hall. God dang. Okay. Mm-hmm. That part of my date. Okay. Trying to stagger the residential to pass the power along, which should work. Assuming they actually move in where I put the buildings. We go see. There we go. We go see. Huh. Oh boy. It's coming together now. Yeah. You want some residential? I'll give you some residential. Inside my head, that's killing me again. My mind's filled up. Conversation. Oh, power. Usually already. Okay, finally to 7,500 and the title of Big Town. We can build a college campus area. We can buy a new area. We can build sports arenas for the college teams. We can do subway. Level 5 unique buildings. Whole bunch of new policies because we can also, and very crucially, build high density zones as well as offices. And a whole lot of buildings come with that. So that was a good milestone to hit. Your electric eel, baby girl. Turn me on with your electric feel. Baby girl. What's the other elementary school? I don't even remember. There it is. Not enough workers. Girl. Still going pretty strong. This oil only area is kind of meh, but try and expand this a little bit. Okay. Really? We're going to continue our focus on low density residential, industrial, commercial. You're going to fill out those suburbs, small city, low density area. Kind of pack this out as much as we can here. what I plan on doing is kind of churning this area. We can change the ground resources and stuff. This will be fertile land. And we can put more trees. So this area kind of being forests, edge of our city kind of vibe. And what we can do is we have this area now here that's all fertile land, and we'll turn this into like rural countryside, very small town area. I like to have one of those in every town or every city that I build. That's kind of the plan for using up this main brick of space. We'll also eventually include this area here as some more like suburbs. This will be a little bit more windy, nicer looking aesthetic, curvier roads, not grid pattern, stuff like that. And then I'm thinking, again, if the expansion allows us to head this way, let me switch cameras. Down here, we'll put like a city, dense, actual city. And that's where our high density stuff will come into play. We'll do oil production, ore production, agriculture production, forestry production, all around the small area. So we have all of the ingredients churning to supply our commercial buildings. And that'll be kind of the long-term goal, is to make all of the resources ourselves, keep things in-house, less traffic coming in from outside production, stuff like that. It's an old building. It's interesting the creators put that in. But it does kind of go along with, again, that kind of rural America, broken town vibe that we are kind of establishing on the edge here. Actually, gonna keep it even more obvious there. Okay, so let's give ourselves a little save. And the city is craving more residential, so let's keep plopping in here, guys. So, residential there, there. Get here too. Kind of fill out that area. Come back here. This side we've been ignoring a little bit, so. Keep filling that side out too. Let's see what happens. You bitch coming over. It's like it's a boat. On fire. Patty face. You can pull it. You can get it. Safe for black little white girls. This. Seen around. All right. So yeah, we're filling this in nicely. Good small cities, low density nonsense. Got a pretty good ratio of industrial, commercial, residential. We're growing really well. We can place high density anytime. We're just not going to do it in this space. Like I said, down here at some point, we'll get very low density here. I love that idea. Small town, rural, like winding roads, agriculture, industry, taking care of all of our needs. And we'll expand this road down here. And we're just going to turn it into forestry. Can't rely. Mighty fine. So if we go back to districts, fill loop. Even though Beechwood, we'll make a nice little district down here. In the heavy forest, we'll put our forestry. Yep. And then we'll make another district. Like to thank you. Shit don't stink. Make this agriculture. And lastly, this region. For the word bitch. Bitch. This one will be ore. Crash, crash into a ditch. Just playing. To divide. Yeah, Yeah, this is nice. I think this is going to work. We'll fill it out. We'll decorate it a little bit more as we go on. I think this is going to be looking pretty mint. Roses really smell. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we'll worry about this. I gotta make it closer. They really like their commercial buildings here. Okay. Some more commercial for us. No. Hopefully that noise. Bum, bum, bum. What's we got in this playlist? Hard swerve on the music right there. See how bad traffic's gotten in the meantime. Still the same major pain points. Makes sense. I built this a little too close, but we didn't have a lot of space to work with in the original tile. Alright, so they want more residential. So let's give them what they want. Start filling in a lot of this BS that we left unattended for a while. Cool. This is probably one of the bigger low density sprawls I've ever made in my career playing this game, I think. But it seems to be working mostly. The problem is now that we've gotten our city big enough, a lot of these buildings are going to want to see highly educated Sims, meaning they've gone to college, which I'm not going to be building for a little bit of time, so. Make you mine. Pretty well covered by hospitals, I think. Yeah. Good. Good. Watch as your heart speeds so endlessly. Everything's magic. Feel the pressure, never. Should probably click on that every once in a while. I think we solved a bit of our problem. Just producing more oil. Rails out the mystery. Yeah, it's good. Dear life. Screaming in silence, we were still. Until I hit the phone. Keep at the door. But nice and stuff for us. Somewhere in the sea. Just overhead now. Okay. Well, guys, I think that's going to do it for us today. Started a little late, but this is the time I should be ending. Again, tomorrow we'll be back, same time frame, playing Diablo 4. Again, Tuesday is going to be a revolving thing, just playing whatever I feel like, but been enjoying that game, so until something else comes out or I revisit something, that's going to be the game. Wednesday, again, Wheel Wednesdays, we're playing something on the racing wheel. Thursday, back again with Valorant. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I appreciate the hangs, appreciate the conversation. It always means a lot. So hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see y'all next time. Take care.